doing just that. We're opening it all up, breaking out of the boxes and the binaries, and doing things in a new way. So who's ready to be open to a little bit of change? Today's the day. I'm Meghan, and this is Archetypes, my podcast about the labels and tropes that try to hold women
finally!
back. And in order to help us truly break out of these boxes, for this, our final episode.
You're kidding me. R.I.P. Archetypes. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, Leilani of Barbados. I am a mess. This is called Manifesting a Cultural Shift with Trevor Noah, Andy Cohen, and Judd somebody. Listen, R.I.P. Archetypes. So sad to see you go. May you rest in eternal grace and power. I'm so happy because look at me. This is a state I'm in because I have been covering this podcast and taking one for the team, and now I have reached my limit. So this is perfect. Joe Rogan says Meghan is leaving Spotify. She can't keep up. That celebrities would start podcasts, can't keep up. They bail, like the Meghan Markles of this world. Rogan also said, you just can't keep faking it. It's too hard. And we can take Joe Rogan as a good source because Spotify would be nothing without him. He's the highest paid on Spotify, and he made Spotify a podcast outlet in the first place. So if he says she's gone, she's gone. And it doesn't take a genius or a number one podcaster to realize that this is rightfully so. Like, she should be gone long time. So let's get right into it. Oh, really, one thing before we get into it, I just want to say for all the Jordan Peterson fans, I am here for you. I get you. People have different opinions. I have seen a lot of the memes of Jordan Peterson. I know he has a cult following with his students because he's a very good psychology professor out of Toronto, University of Toronto. Here's the thing. He talks about some controversial things, some polarizing things. So I wasn't sure how you take him because also he says a lot of good things. He's a scholar and so on, which we'll get to as well. Because I think that Meghan Markle is an academiophile, which is somebody who's obsessed with academia and academics. But as we've learned that she's an academiophile, is that she doesn't have the IQ, the capacity to get on that level and speak on that level. And it's the most cringe thing ever to see somebody trying to be something they're not, especially with such a big platform. It would have been much easier for us to take her seriously if she was being herself. Instead, she seems to want everyone to know that she's this perfect person who has a stack of books on her bedside table and all she does is read and all she does is be really smart, when nothing she says is original or thought-provoking. In fact, all she does is plagiarize other people. So I don't know why she's trying to prove that she's so smart, because no one cares. No one cares. She talks about annotating books like she's in school. And
as luck would have it, amidst the stack of books on my bedside table, I stumbled across a concept in one that explores how we change the way we think and even rewire our brains. I got my pen, I marked it up. I don't know if you're like me with books where you scribble it up, you highlight, you make little stars on things that just stand out for you.
If you really had a brain, you'd remember and you'd take away from the book what you take away from it and be like, well, how normal people talk about books that influence them. Say, oh, well, when I read this book, I really learned this and that. You don't need to be starring things and going back and looking at what it is that you thought was important. And by the way, anything she starred, I can guarantee you, were fillers. Because that's how she talks about fillers, things that go without saying. Anyway, let's jump right in and go. In the first sentence, she talks about that she used to watch a show about science on TV because, of course, her entire podcast is built around the childhood that she had watching TV the entire time. But she says she wasn't really into science. So where are we going with this?
It's bizarre to me because I wasn't really a science kind of girl growing up. I loved cooking, gardening, writing letters. I mean, not much has changed with any of that.
If you were so perfect, then you would have gone to England, to the royal palace, and been part of the garden. Where else would you go to find the best gardening? So you could have gardened there. You could have been lovely there. You could have been cooking there. You could have been a nice, unproblematic member of the family there. The fact that you didn't do that and you were such a chaotic, disliked member tells us that you really are not what you purport to be. You're not a nice lady who likes to go in the garden and cook food and be kind to everybody. You did nothing except come back and then completely slander the royal family without any empirical evidence of the racist names, people, what was said, nothing. Which is going to lead me into the next thing, which... why is she receiving an award, by the way, for racism? Let's see if Harry goes and receives that award with her. I don't see how she's going to let him get away from going on stage. They are married. They are a couple. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Spoiler alert. I really don't think so. There's nowhere for him to go at this point. He's now written books. He's now disparaged them to the point where there's no return to the royal family for him, even in a cordial way, I don't think at this point. Kerry Kennedy's award. I have heard people talking about how this award was brought out of Robert Kennedy's stance against apartheid. Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, have been named this year's Ripple of Hope Award laureates in recognition of their work on racial justice, mental health, and other social impact initiatives through their Archewell Foundation. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex will be honored alongside previously announced laureates. People are saying, this is taking away so much from this award, and it's ruining this award and everything by them being part of it. I think it works both ways. Either the award maintains its prestige and awards people who deserve it, or the award can just become nothing. A joke. Because how can you award somebody when they have not fought? Okay, so you said that these people are racist and you didn't call any names. Well, that's fine. Did you go back to the UK and say, we want to change the structural racism that occurs in the UK? Let us do something. Or in America. We're here in America now, and we're still fighting for this racism thing. You didn't do it. So how are you getting an award for no work done? And that's the same thing that happened with the NAACP award. And for me, that award is trash. And this award now is also trash. Kerry Kennedy is saying that they embody the type of moral courage that my father once called the one essential vital quality for those who seek to change a world that yields most painfully to change. I mean, I guess you really don't care about his work then. You don't care because you haven't found something that equates to what your father said. So there it is. It's all a bunch of nutty people. She talks about STEM and STEAM, which she might not know about until her children get a little bit older, but it's basically the gifted program.
But also during my childhood, STEM wasn't something I ever remember people talking about, let alone STEAM. I love that is what kids and girls especially are encouraged to sink their teeth into today. But as a kid in the 80s, that wasn't what I was exposed to.
She wasn't involved in the gifted program. I don't know why.
So, in this book, they posited a concept that, stay with me if you're like, oh, she's getting woo-woo. I'm not. I'm getting scientific. And what I found in this book is a concept called neuroplasticity. Here's an expert to tell you a little bit about it.
Neuroplasticity describes our capacity to keep on learning and growing through our lifetime. And there's an understanding that neurons that fire together, wire together.
Blah, blah, blah,
so
blah,
that
blah,
the
blah,
more we...
Okay. So what she's saying in layman's terms is that when you have stereotypes that are constantly reinforced in your brain, there is a possibility to get rid of those stereotypes by meditating. There is a possibility to change those stereotypes, even though they're reinforced over and over again. Once you meditate and you float out into a different stratosphere where you can then look down upon yourself and say, change your mind now. This is a social construct. You can be anything you want. You can identify as a blueberry.
Yeah, that's right, baby. I'm a motherfucking blueberry, duh. Oh, no, I'm a strawberry.
You can change your mind by meditating, and that's all she's saying. Neuroplasticity. So it is about just changing your mind. Meghan probably liked it because it meant that she could be fickle and check out of situations and just change her mind about things that she committed to. I think that's how she took it. That's why she's spinning it this way. But yeah, that's it. So I think that's the end of the podcast, basically, for me. No, I have to keep going. You know I'm a sucker for punishment. Okay, so Trevor Noah, for me, I'm not a big fan of him. I find he's either very petulant or he's very corny. I also find him like wildly unattractive. I don't know what it is about him. I think because his hairline is like so perfect. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just jealous. But yeah, I don't find him to be entertaining at all. So that's him. And I know how he feels because he was raised by a single mom. So he feels very like aggressive about that. And then he also, yeah, like I said, I don't find his jokes funny. I don't find him very confident is what I want to say. Now, Andy Cohen, as we know from the Real Housewives franchise, and you can check out one of my videos where I was asked to audition for the Real Housewives franchise, but it wasn't Andy Cohen. It was the UK one. So I feel it wasn't the Bravo one, right? So it was the UK one. And I feel like if Andy Cohen was one of the people auditioning me, I would have of course made it because he knows talent when he sees it. Okay, honey.
Nice to meet you.
It's good to see you. I've met you before. You'll never remember it.
You're kidding.
Would I joke about that? This is great.
Oh God.
Just brace yourself.
This is going to ruin my day.
No, it's not. I absolutely did not want to ruin Andy Cohen's day, but for this reality TV powerhouse and host of the late night talk show Watch What Happens Live, I did need to set the table a bit to maybe go down memory lane when we met once upon a time. Or shall I say, twice upon a time. I met you twice. You ready? The first one, Suits wasn't even on yet. The pilot hadn't even aired. And there was some sort of event for USA and Bravo and all at, it's at the SLS Hotel.
Oh, in LA. Okay.
Yeah. And I was such a huge fan.
Oh no. And I ruined it. What did I do?
No, you didn't. You were perfectly.
Oh no.
You did that thing where you like your eyebrows went up and I was gushing. I was like, oh, and you said, uh-huh.
Oh God.
It's okay. And I said, that's fine. I still was a huge fan. And then when we had maybe season 2 or 3, we were in New York.
Oh no.
No, it's not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's not bad. This just shows, don't sweat. Don't. It's like he's breaking in sweat now.
Okay, go on. Season 2, and what happened?
I was so eager to be on your show because I was such a Housewives fan at the time. And I just couldn't get booked.
He met her twice and he didn't remember her at all because she's nobody. And she's only somebody because of Prince Harry. And that's fine. That's fine as long as she's able to capitalize on it. Like if she's able to literally make like, oh, I wasn't able to break through all the talent in LA, but now I have this catapult or this head start and look at what I have to offer. But she's ruined it because she had such a big opportunity with this podcast, which is edited. It's not even live. And she squandered those opportunities. She did everything the wrong way. I'm sure she was advised by the best, but just didn't take the advice. So it's no shame to them. Who's the other guest now? Judd Apatow just says very little about his series that he makes. He's a comedian and once he says his piece about how people are very complicated and characters are very complicated when you write them and so on and so forth, she just has this really random laugh.
I think everyone is a complete disaster on the road to getting better.
Where you can see that was a soundbite that they put in. So I don't think she really interviewed him in real life because there's been a lot of speculation about her not really interviewing these people or these people not really giving her the time of day. So those are the men that she got. After all these women, she has a final episode where she's going to do this groundbreaking thing in her feminist podcast. She's going to bring on men. One says, I don't know you, Andy Cohen. The other one says, he's confused. Growing up in a different culture. That's Trevor Noah. And then the third one, Judd Apatow, says, I just know what I write and the productions I make. And it's all very complicated, writing scripts for like all different personalities. But thanks for having us. Anyway, I have another video I want to put up. I want to do some updates. Thank you for watching me. Please subscribe and press the bell notifications. And don't forget to comment. Tell me what you think. Like, please let me know if you forgive me for the Jordan Peterson meme that I was making. I mean,